This is my third video, so I think I'm gonna change this behind me. Should we have a bit of red? Ooh, I quite like the blue, it matches my hijab. Alright, so hello everyone, welcome back to part 3 of my supply teaching Q&A. These videos are supposed to be kind of short. I know I can talk a lot, so I'm just going to jump straight into them. But if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 and you're interested in my experience that I've shared so far, then I will leave those linked down below. The first question is, any tips on behavior management? What a great question, because as a supply teacher, you are going to be in so many different scenarios, so many different classrooms. You're going to come across a lot of different characters in your time as a supply teacher. And I think the main thing to say really with behaviour management is, first of all, read the school's policy and understand the school's policy and behaviour management. That's very, very important. Every school is going to have a different system. Every school is going to have expectations that vary slightly. Of course, every school wants good behaviour from the children, of course. But each school and then in turn each classroom is going to have a little bit of a difference in terms of behaviour management. The sooner you understand the school's policy, the easier it will be for you. Speak to SLT if you can, speak to deputy heads, speak to the head teacher, and definitely speak to class teachers about it. Ask them for tips, ask them for what they do for behaviour management. And this is why I really, really like spending my own RCA time that I have, or PPA time, observing other teachers and sort of seeing what the general norm is for behaviour management. If there is someone being disruptive, how does this teacher in this class deal with it? Because chances are I'm going to be covering this class soon, so I need to be able to kind of follow suit. Just use your own behaviour management principles and what you've learned and what you've done in the past to work to your advantage. So I'm a big fan of positive behaviour management. I like to highlight the people who are doing the right thing. I like to say thank you a lot. Thank you so much to, so and so over there. You're showing me fantastic listening. So impressed. And it does depend on the age group. I've really learnt this very quickly. Children year 2 to year 4, 5, they will respond very well to a list on a board, a smiley face list. Oh my goodness, Robert, you are doing some amazing independent work. Let me write your name in a smiley face list. Mrs. So-and-so is going to be so impressed when she comes back to see that you've done so well. And just that modelling of praise is going to make the rest of the children, the majority of them, want to also get onto this list. That's a really, really quick, easy way to do some quick behaviour management. And then obviously when there is disruptive behaviour, you have to follow the school's policy, and that's going to vary from school to school. But I would definitely say don't be afraid to ask for help, don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you have an experience where there is really poor behaviour and you weren't expecting it, you weren't briefed on it, you weren't warned about it, then it's your duty and your right to speak to SLT about this and explain what happened and ask them for guidance, ask them for direction. And 9 times out of 10 they're going to say, you know what, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened. Next time when you're in this environment, we are going to make sure that this is put in place. The good thing about the school I'm at the moment is that there are a lot of people around the building to support you, which is amazing. There are 2 deputy heads and they are fantastic. They're very, very responsive. Alhamdulillah, I've not had a very difficult situation, but I would just say in terms of as well, if you're teaching the class for the whole day or for the whole afternoon or the whole morning, walk in there, make sure that you have a strong presence, which means that you're standing straight and tall, and try not to smile too much, which is very hard. If you're someone like me, it's very hard to not smile too much. But you know that old saying of teachers when they start, they shouldn't smile until Christmas. I don't believe in that, but I do think that it's really important to show your seriousness, because yes, you're new, yes, you're a visitor, yes, they haven't seen you before, or yeah, they might have seen you around the school but they have not been taught by you. However, you are the teacher for this time period in their day, and so they need to see you as a teacher. Be treated with seriousness and respect. You kind of need to show that as well. So walking in, standing tall, looking around, making eye contact, And then when it comes to introducing yourself, then you can sort of break that wall a little bit. Like, hello, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, and I'm going to be your teacher for the next da-da-da. And what I found works really well is, well, because I've got an English accent, I'm from England, the first thing I would do is I would say, as you can tell, I'm not Scottish, I'm from England, I was born in London, I grew up here, you know, da-da-da-da-da, all of these things. And then it depends on the age. Like, obviously, the older they are, the more easier it is to do this. But I like to go around and maybe when I'm doing the register, get them to give me a wave and tell me a fact about them or something along those lines, so that I am giving them something from me and then I'm giving them a chance to introduce themselves to me. And that kind of sets a really nice tone for the rest of the time I'm there. And then what it means is that next time I'm in this classroom, they have some knowledge of me, they have some familiarity with me. It's much quicker to get into the lesson. A lot of the times though, like, that's not possible, so there will be days and days where I'm just like in primary 6 for an hour, and then I'm in primary 5 for an hour, and then I'm in primary 3 for half an hour. In those situations where you're literally just expected to just go in and cover the class, you obviously can't do that, but it just depends on the class that you have, the year group you have, the age you have. But definitely go in strong, go in firm and serious, and explain to them that you're here to cover the teacher for whatever reason. So if they're ill, unfortunately, so-and-so's not feeling well today, she should be back soon, he should be back soon, hopefully. And I'm sure that they'll be really excited to hear that we've had a brilliant day today. I want to give them the most fantastic report. And one thing I found that works quite well is explaining to them that I'm making a report for your teacher for when they get back. So I'm going to write that so-and-so has done amazingly, you know, and also, that wasn't great behaviour, this is your warning, and obviously using the school system, and I'm gonna have to check in with Mrs. so-and-so about that. And that's kind of reminding them that, yeah, okay, you might be a supply teacher, but you can still speak to the actual teacher, and you can also phone home if you need to. So maybe I should toe the line a little bit, you know? These practices definitely take time, they take experience to get the hang of, but you have to have some confidence in yourself, and you have to know that you've qualified as a teacher. You are amazing at what you do, you're a great teacher, the children are lucky to have you, and you are lucky to be there, vice versa, you know, it works both ways. So make the most of this time, and the time will fly really quickly as well. So yeah, you've got this. Don't worry, don't panic. Try and apply similar behaviour management techniques that you would with your own class to the classes that you are going to be teaching. Next question is, how do you get a feel for different schools? I dislike inconsistency and routine and waiting in the morning to see if I'm going to be teaching or not. Unfortunately, that is sometimes what happens when you're supply teaching. I would say that if you get a school that you really, really like and that you've been there for 2 or 3 days and you really enjoy it, maybe have a chat with the head teacher and ask them if they're looking for a long-term supply, and that way you can try and get that long-term contract. Or maybe talk to the agency you're with or the council and say, look, I really would prefer to be teaching in one school consistently. Is there any schools that are looking for that? And then they can put the question out there, and then if schools have the budget for it, then they can get back to them, and vice versa. So I would say definitely in this situation where you personally don't like that inconsistency and that I don't know where I'm going to be and that throwing in a deep end every single time, which I understand, like I was a bit nervous about that too. I would say that put the ball into your own court by actually going out there and asking for what you want and saying, look, I don't want this inconsistency. Is there any schools that are looking for long term? And then go to a school, see what it's like. If you like it, sign the contract and go for it. And if you don't, then unfortunately you have to kind of keep looking until you find the right school for you. But yeah, I think if you don't ask, you don't get. That's the bottom line to that question. The next question is, what qualifications do you need to be a supply teacher? I've already touched on this in the first video, the first Q&A, but pretty much you do have to be a qualified teacher, you do have to have an undergraduate degree, and you do have to have a PGCE, or you can have a teaching undergraduate degree to be a supply teacher, and they 99.9% sure that is the only way you can become a supply teacher. It's not a case, like I said last time, of just enjoying working with kids. So being supply, you do have to have the full qualification because you're expected to be able to adapt really quickly. And then this really amazing blogger, you guys, she's amazing. Like, you need to follow her on TikTok especially, but also on Instagram, because she's just so cool and her content is always consistent, and I just love watching her videos. She's called Huma, huma.ah. She said, I really loved it. Every school is different, but if you're adaptable, it's a fun experience. And I totally agree. One of the best things about supply teaching is you get to see so many different schools. You get to see primary schools, middle schools, you get to see combined schools, you get to see really old schools, you get to see modern schools, you get to work with a whole array of different adults and different children, and that is not an experience you get if you get a job in one school and you stay there for the next 10, 15, 20 years. You know, you don't necessarily get that experience. It gives you a chance to see so much, and also if you're doing supply teaching as a bit of a kind of career break, I don't see it as a career break because I'm still teaching, but as a difference to a regular career, which is what I'm doing this for this current academic year, then for me it's really helped me to see which age groups I most want to teach in the future for a long-term regular teaching job. I was sure that I wanted to teach like primary 3, like year 3, when I go back into teaching full-time, and I haven't had that much experience in the year group so far, to be honest. I want to do more work within P3 if possible, but I still am finding myself reaching towards like P5, 6 and 7, and I don't know if that's just like because I've got so much experience in that, or if I'm just better with that age group. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's just a really good way to be able to dip your toe into different year groups and different age groups and see like the pros and cons of each. And believe me, there are pros and cons of each year group. Like, I spent like the last week that I was at work in, just for one, it was literally an hour, but I was in a P2 class, and it was the sweetest class ever, like primary 2. They were so lovely, they were so cute, like they were listening so well, and oh, it just like made my heart melt. So I really enjoyed that. And then I also massively enjoyed being in P7, and they were doing their play rehearsal, and yeah, I'm loving it, as you can tell. But I would say, just like Homer said, like, it's such a fun experience if you're adaptable. If you're somebody who this whole inconsistency of routine stresses you out, or if you like to know where you're going, where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing every single day without fail, I don't think it's for you, which is a shame, because I think that actually supply teaching is something all teachers should do if they get the chance, because it really pushes you out of your comfort zone, but it teaches you a wealth of knowledge on teaching, on working with different people, on everything. So it's such an amazing experience, but you gotta be able to adapt and go with the flow very quickly and kind of just maintain a cool, composed nature. And if you can do that, then it will be a fantastic experience. Honestly, it will be amazing. Okay. I hope that you enjoyed this Q&A. If you've got any questions, then definitely leave them down below if I haven't answered them in these 3 videos. And next Teacher Talk Tuesday will be my first one, which is not related to supply teaching necessarily. I think I will be doing let's do something on, I think, video interviews, because I've done my fair share of them so far, and I'm expecting to do quite a few more. So we'll do a video about that. And if you did enjoy this, you know what to do by now. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!